is able to get the oxygen from the air itself. So if it is able to get the oxygen from the air, it is a lighter engine and a much better engine. Okay, all right. In a conventional engine, there is fuel and there is oxidizer and the compression happens. Now, why does compression? Agar मैं fuel, forget hydrogen, any fuel, if I have to burn with oxygen, one is I take air directly. If I take air directly to burn, let's say some fuel like petrol, I take air to burn petrol. How much percentage of air is oxygen? Only 21%. So if I take 100 ml of air, I will only be getting 21 ml of oxygen. But if I compress the air, or if I have some way to ensure that more air molecules or atoms are fit in this 100 ml, then more oxygen atoms will be fit in this 100 ml. Then if more oxygen atoms will be fit in this 100 ml, more oxygen will be delivered for the fuel and better energy will be generated. So if I can compress the air, I will get more oxidizer at the same volume. In the first case, air molecules were like this, and this was the oxygen molecule. In the second case, and this is the whole volume of the air. In the second case, I compressed it. When I compressed it, and this we have seen that air molecules are far apart, so we can compress them. When we compress it, it becomes something like this. So in the same volume, the number of oxygen molecules increase. So if I compress the oxidizer, if I compress the air, the burning will be even better, because nitrogen is not the oxidizer, carbon dioxide is not the oxidizer, only oxygen is the oxidizer, and I have to take it from the air. So either I have to install a filter, that cannot happen. So what I do is I compress, I take in much more air, so I get enough oxygen. This is the idea of compression. Now, you must have heard this term jet engine. Jet is a type of reaction engine. क्योंकि jet जब हमें हवा में दिखता है, हमें क्या दिखता है? That this is an aeroplane and something is being released from the back. ऐसा दिखता है ना? We see a stream in the sky. That is the jet engine is releasing something. So a jet is a reaction engine. It will take in air from one side, burn the plane, and something is being released from the back. ऐसा दिखता है ना? We see a stream in the sky. That is the jet engine is releasing something. So a jet is a reaction engine. It will take in air from one side, burn it, release air from the other side. If it releases air back, it will move forward. This is how it moves forward. This is a jet engine. Okay, this works on the principle of Newton's third law, which I'm sure you know, is every action has an equal and opposite reaction. So if there is one action in this jet engine to release the air back, there will be one reaction to move the jet engine forward. This is how a jet engine works. What we have to study is scramjet and ramjet. This is a jet engine. It takes air from this side, burns it here, and gives an exhaust. This exhaust generates a force. The reaction force moves the jet forward. Now, what is happening inside a jet engine? Let's see that. Inside a jet engine, there is fuel. We have kept some fuel. We have taken oxidizer from outside. Oxidizer is here air. But air is not the oxidizer. Oxygen is the oxidizer. To get more oxygen, I have done what? Compression. So I have compressed the air. I have gotten it here. If I have compressed the air, I have gotten it here. Here what is happening? Fuel plus oxygen is happening, or burning is happening, or another word for burning is combustion. So combustion is happening inside the jet engine. Then some gases are being released as exhaust, and this exhaust is pushing the jet engine forward. So it is called an air-breathing internal combustion engine. Air-breathing internal combustion engine. Got it? Now, we now move to what we actually have to study, ramjet engine. Okay, ramjet engine. Jet is clear. Jet come. Idea is clear. Ramjet. Okay. Now, what does RAM mean? RAM does not talking about random access memory. RAM in English means to hit something really hard. I rammed the car into the pole. That is what it means to ram, right? So if this is some space and I ram into it, there was air here, I rammed into it. So what did I do? I compressed the air in between. This much air, I rammed into the air, so the air got compressed. That is what a ramjet engine is. It rams into the air. Ramming into the air, it compresses the air. It takes the air in, then the compressed air is combined with the jet. Jet engine has what? Fuel. Compressed air is combined with the fuel, and what is done? Internal combustion. Then after that combustion, what happens? Gases are released backward. When gases are released backward, what happens? Thrust is generated forward. So a ramjet engine, right, is an air-breathing jet engine, right? It is an air-breathing jet engine with internal combustion. Okay. Now you have to understand two things, or I'll make you understand here. This is what a ramjet looks like. It is moving in this direction. Sorry, it is moving in this direction. Here it is taking some air. It is ramming into the air like this. The air gets compressed. The compression happens. Now compression happens and then the air goes into the combustion chamber. Here fuel is released. Fuel plus air leads to generation of exhaust. Exhaust is thrown back and the engine moves forward. Now this is a ramjet. Now what is a ramjet in terms of speed? A ramjet works most efficiently at speeds which are supersonic. पहले आप ये concept समझेंगे कि supersonic क्या होता है. Then we'll come back to the ramjet. Sonic speed. Sonic word comes from the word sound. Okay, so sonic or sound speed, if I say my speed is sonic, my speed is same as that of sound, which is 340 meters per second. Now yesterday night there was a lot of lightning in there. If you would have seen the lightning, or if you have seen lightning anytime, you see the light first and thunder you hear later. Right? You see the light first and thunder you hear later. Because light travels at a speed of 3 into 10 raised to power 8 meter per second. This is the speed of light. Right? 3 into 10 raised to power 8. So 8 zeros after 3. And what is the speed of sound? 3 into 10 raised to power 2 meter per second. So since the speed of sound is much less than speed of light, when lightning happens, you will see the lightning first, hear the thunder second. Now, this is sonic speed. If I am moving above this speed, now yesterday night there was a lot of lightning in Delhi. If you would have seen the lightning, or if you have seen lightning anytime, you see the light first and thunder you hear later, right? You see the light first and thunder you hear later, because light travels at a speed of 3 into 10 raised to power 8 meter per second. This is the speed of light, right? 3 into 10 raised to power 8. So 8 zeros after 3. And what is the speed of sound? 3 into 10 raised to power 2 meter per second. So since the speed of sound is much less than speed of light, when lightning happens, you will see the lightning first, hear the thunder second. Now, this is sonic speed. If I am moving above this speed, I will be what? Supersonic. So if a jet engine can move above the speed of sound, faster than the speed of sound, it is called supersonic. Here we get a concept called Mach number. What is Mach? Let's say your speed is 2 times that of the speed of sound. So what will be your speed? 2 into 340, which will be 680. This is your speed. This will be twice the speed of sound. So you are in what category now? You are in supersonic category, and your Mach number here will be 2. So the multiple with which you are going at the speed of sound, how many times faster you are going than the speed of sound, is your Mach number. MACH, Mach. Okay, Mach number का मतलब है कि मैं इतने time faster जा रहा हूँ than the speed of sound. Mach number is this. Now this Mach number tells you how fast you are. So in a ramjet engine, एक और चीज हम समझेंगे, then we understand Mach number properly. ये ramjet engine है, कैसे कर रहा है? It is ramming the air, compressing the air, getting the oxidizer inside, then burning. अब मुझे बताओ, जब ये स्टार्ट हुआ होगा, जब ये 0 किलोमीटर पर आर या 0 मीटर पर सेकंड से स्टार्ट हुआ होगा और ये यहां चला होगा इतना सा, बस इट स्पीड इज राइट नाउ 5 किलोमीटर पर आर, इट इज जस्ट स्टार्टेड. तो इस टाइम पे, एट दिस टाइम, will it be able to get oxidizer from the air or not? At 5 kilometer per hour, at very slow 5 kilometer per hour, तो आपको पता ही है ना कितना है. At 5 kilometer per hour, will it be able to get air from it will be able to get oxidizer from the air or not? Just tell me that. Of course, no. It needs to compress the air. It is a ramming jet. यार 5 किलोमीटर पर थोड़ी एयर कंप्रेस होगी, जब ऐसे जाएगा तब एयर कंप्रेस होगी, तब कुछ बढ़िया होगा. हाँ, 5 किलोमीटर पे there will be some compression. Yes, very little compression will happen, but that is not sufficient to burn the fuel that is inside. So what does this mean? This means that there must be an optimal speed. There must be one speed at which we can say that at this speed it works perfectly. And the second thing, to reach that speed, it will need to carry some oxidizer. Some oxidizer will get it to that speed, right? Some oxidizer will be there that will get it to its speed. Let's say its optimal speed is Mach 3. What does Mach 3 mean? 3 times speed of sound. So its optimal speed is Mach 3. To get to Mach 3, it will use an oxidizer. After that, it is sorted. So it has very little oxidizer just to get to Mach 3. At 5 km per hour, it is also compressing the air, but the air is not sufficient to run it. So this optimal speed is the idea of ramjet engine. In a ramjet engine, you require an optimal speed. Now, in a ramjet engine, air will be entering. Now, the optimal speed is Mach 3. So, if you are moving forward with Mach 3, 3 times speed of sound, air is also entering at 3 times speed of sound. Now, you must have the technology to have this fast air be used also. अगर air एकदम झटके से निकल जाए, if it goes by really fast, you will not be able to burn the fuel properly. So again, there is an optimal speed at which all of this operates properly. In a ramjet engine, the optimal speed is between Mach 3 and Mach 6. Between M3 and M6, it works perfectly. Why only M3 and M6? Why only M3 and M6? This you don't need to know. This is the concept of shock waves and shock cones. Okay, it's written in the slide if you want to read it, but I don't recommend it. If you want, we can explain after the today's class is over. In the last 30 minutes, I can explain this, but it's absolutely not required. Okay, so Mach 3 to Mach 6 is the ideal speed of a ramjet. Okay, now, why is this the ideal speed? If I just give you a hint, beyond this, it is not able to stop the air. The compression of the air that is happening beyond this, it is not able to use that air effectively. Right? Okay, so it cannot work if the compression of the air is happening at supersonic speed. Just understand what I'm saying. The compression must be slow. Air can enter at whatever speed it wants, but the compression must be slow so that it is used effectively. This is a ramjet. So what do we know about a ramjet? We know that it is an air breathing system. Air breathing. It works at speed Mach 3 to Mach 6. This is the ideal speed. Beyond this speed, it cannot work because it wants the compression to happen at lower speed. If air is compressed at faster speed than this, it will not be able to work. This is what we know about ramjet. What do we know about supersonic? We know supersonic is greater than Mach 1. Mach 1 is sonic, 1 times faster than sound, matlab 1 into sound speed, same sound speed. Anything greater than Mach 1 is supersonic. Now there is another term called hypersonic, which is very much in the news because of use of hypersonic missile. So I am also teaching defense here, right? Hypersonic. This term means Mach 5. If you are 5 times faster than the speed of sound, then you will be called hypersonic. So a hypersonic missile minimum has to be 5 times faster than what speed of sound is. Speed of sound is 340 meters per second. So for a missile to be hypersonic, the minimum speed required will be 1700 meters per second. Okay, this is the minimum speed of hypersonic. Mach 5. Now in a ramjet, the ideal speed is Mach 3 to Mach 6. So it is not, it can be called hypersonic, but just the starting of hypersonic. Okay, so it is ideally a supersonic engine. It can go to hypersonic speed, but not sustain there. Right? It can operate up to speeds of Mach 3 to Mach 6. Here it is written that it will require an assisted takeoff. Why will it require an assisted takeoff? Because it will need to reach that particular speed at which it can use the air for oxidation. Alright. Why was above Mach 3, above Mach 6, why was the ramjet engine not working? It was not working because it could not work if the compression of air was that fast. So the ramjet, an engine that was ramming air and working on the principle of jet, had a problem that if the air was compressed at supersonic speed, its combustion was not optimal. ये बात समझ आ रही है ना कि बहुत ज्यादा तेज एयर हो जाती है तो एक लेवल से ज्यादा it cannot sustain. So what did I make? I made a scramjet. I added this ability of supersonic combustion. So scramjet stands for supersonic conjunction ramjet. What will this do now? It is a variant of ramjet. Combustion is taking place at supersonic airflow. Supersonic airflow is written, not supersonic speed. Supersonic speed पे तो ramjet भी चल रहा है. Supersonic airflow. Even if the air is very, very fast, it can combust. So it will be able to move at much faster speed. So a ramjet has even faster speed. A ramjet can move even at 8 Mach. So a ramjet is a scramjet can move at 8 Mach. So a scramjet is a proper hypersonic engine. Here it is written why it can do so, because of shock cones and shock waves, but it's not required. If you want, you can read from here. Scramjet can work even at Mach 8. So if I want to make a hypersonic missile, now hypersonic is just not Mach 6. I want to go beyond that. I want to be even faster. What will I use? Scramjet. Supersonic combustion ramjet. And I hope you will never forget this now, because you know why the word supersonic combustion is there. Okay, this is a scramjet engine. Scramjet, air is entering, combustion can happen even at high airflow. Combustion happens here, thrust is released, and it will move at the speed around Mach 8. Okay, concept is clear? Now, next thing is solid fuel ducted ramjet technology. This is in the news this time. Solid fuel ducted ramjet technology. What is solid fuel? We will see later. But ducted ramjet technology should be clear. Now we know what ramjet means. So it is a missile propulsion system that includes a ducted rocket. Ducted means it has a duct like this, a pipe like this, right? with a reduced smoke nozzle-less missile booster. This detail you can read. This is the only thing you need to read now from the current affairs because the concept is clear to you. Right? It has a duct, it has a thrust modulated duct, means force modulated duct, and a smoke nozzle-less missile booster. It releases less smoke. It has a duct. It is a ramjet engine used for missile propulsion. It was made with an Indo-Russian R&D project. It has a solid fuel I know, air breathing, I understand, ramjet engine, and its ideal range is 70 to 340 kilometers. Why is this range not starting from 0? Why is this range not 0 to 340 kilometers? Because for ramjet to work, certain speed will have to be there, right? So minimum it can travel 70 kilometers. It is a missile propulsion system. Same technology I am using in missile. Missile is what? Missile is a car for a bomb. Rocket is car for a rocket. Car for a satellite. It is a launch vehicle or a rocket is a car for a satellite. A missile is a car for a bomb. Right? So this is what is in the news, solid fuel ducted ramjet technology. And since ramjet is in the news, since there is chance of it asking, that is why I have explained ramjet and scramjet in detail. There is one third technology called dual mode ramjet. This means nothing. It means that it has two modes. At Mach 4 to 8, which is the ideal speed of a scramjet, it will become scramjet technology. Below that, it will become ramjet. How it does that is not important. So it can work in subsonic and supersonic combustion modes. Subsonic and supersonic combustion modes, not subsonic and supersonic speed. I hope you understand the difference. When the ramjet was working, it was going at the speed of Mach 3, but the combustion was not happening at Mach 3. Combustion was happening at Mach less than 1. That is why it could not move beyond Mach 6. When scramjet was there, it developed the ability to combust at Mach more than 1. So it could move even at Mach 8. And dual mode ramjet can do both. फिर हम उसके बाद चलते हैं आगे. Let me just explain ramjet and scramjet again in 5 minutes if it is not clear. फिर हम उसके बाद चलते हैं आगे. ठीक है. जो solid fuel ducted ramjet है, उसमें solid fuel you need to understand, ramjet you need to understand, duct you don't need to understand. Duct में the only thing you need to understand is that it produces less smoke because of that duct. That duct somehow allows it to produce less smoke and still propel forward. Propelling means going forward. Okay. Now, a jet engine is any engine that works on the principle of releasing things back like water or gases and going forward the way we have seen it in the air. Okay, jet is that type of engine. So if I relate to a car, in cars we have internal combustion engines. Okay, so that is a jet engine. Jet also is doing combustion internally, releasing something back, and because of that thrust at the back, if I push something back, I will be able to move forward. This is Newton's third law called every action has an equal and opposite reaction. If I do an action back, I will move forward. This is a jet engine. Okay. Now jet engine are of many types. Okay. Jet engine are of many types. Like car engine, the basic principle is the same, that it will use petrol or diesel and it will generate energy that will move the car forward. This is the basic principle of a car engine. But car engines are of many types. Some is 1.6 liter engine, 1.8 liter engine, etc. Okay. So this is jet engine. Jet engine can have many types. One of the types of the jet engine is a ramjet engine. Okay. Now, what is a ramjet? For any engine to be successful, it needs two things. It needs fuel like petrol, and it needs oxygen, which is an oxidizer. Without oxygen, burning cannot happen. So the engine has to obtain oxygen or oxidize. A ramjet engine is trying to obtain this oxygen from the air. Okay, from the air it is trying to get this oxygen. Now the problem is that air contains only 21% oxygen. So to get a decent amount of oxygen, to get a high amount of oxygen, I will need more air. More air molecules will be needed. Because 21% is what? 21% is 1 by 5. So if there are 5 air molecules, only one of them will be oxygen molecule. So I need to get more oxygen molecules. So I need to get more air molecules. Now, if I compress the air, if I bring it close like this, the air molecules will come close. So if I compress air, let's say air was in this tube, right? It had these many molecules. If I compress this tube using a piston, if I do something like this, all of these molecules, like there is a piston, I push it like this, all of these molecules will get trapped here. Okay, so from this much, whatever oxygen I'm getting, here also the same oxygen will be there. Here, let's say there are 2 molecules of oxygen. If I compress it, here also there will be 2 molecules of oxygen, but I will be requiring to take much less air, right? And if I'm comparing, then the amount of oxygen I'm getting in compressed air, very less. Even this much air is giving same oxygen, even this much air is giving same oxygen. So it is better for me to take this much air, right? Because then my capacity to take air will increase, right? My capacity to take air is increasing. Let's say my engine only has the capacity to take in this much air. Or I'll use a different color. Let's say my engine only has the capacity to use this much air. So if I compress it here, I will get more oxygen, right? Now, how do I compress the air? The way to compress the air is to push into. So what a ramjet is doing? A ramjet, the word ramming matlab, ram means to hit something really hard. To hit something really hard means to ram it. So what here I was doing? मैं air को बहुत तेज hit कर रहा था, ऐसे मार रहा था, compress कर रहा. So a ramjet engine, it is a type of jet engine, meaning it will release something back to get forward. It is a type of jet engine. Now, what is the specialty of ramjet engine? It rams the air. It hits the air really hard in front of it. If it hits the air in front of it really hard, what will happen? The air will get compressed. Then, ramjet engine has a method. Ramjet engine has a method to take in this air. Okay? It needed an oxidizer. It had fuel. It needed an oxidizer. It wanted oxidizer from the air. So what it did? It rammed into the air, compressed the air. Then the compressed air came in. Okay? Then the compressed air came in. When the compressed air came, it used the compressed air, had some oxygen, so it used the oxygen in the compressed air to oxidize its fuel and generate energy. This energy then carried the ramjet engine forward. Now, if it has to compress air, अगर उसे air को compress करना है, तो कुछ particular speed पे चलना पड़ेगा. अगर वो ऐसे चल रहा है, तो air compress नहीं होगी. एक particular speed पे चलेगा, तब air compress होगी. एक certain speed achieve करेगा, तब air compress होना शुरू होगी. इतनी कि it is enough to burn this fuel. उसे इतने इस level का compression चाहिए कि जब वो ये compression करे, तो इतने oxygen molecule आ जाएं कि वो fuel burn करने के लायक हो. और ये कैसे डिसाइड होगा कि इट इज गेटिंग इनफ एयर? हाउ विल इट बी डिसाइडेड इफ इट हैज इनफ एयर? दैट विल बी डिसाइडेड थ्रू इट्स स्पीड. इफ इट इज गोइंग फास्टर, इट विल बी एबल टू कंप्रेस मोर. इफ इट इज गोइंग स्लोअर, एयर विल नॉट बी कंप्रेस्ड. दिस विल कंप्रेस इट, दिस विल नॉट कंप्रेस इट. अंडरस्टूड? नाउ इसका मतलब है कि एक पर्टिकुलर स्पीड है, उस पर्टिकुलर स्पीड पे एट दैट पर्टिकुलर स्पीड, इफ इट वर्क्स, इट विल गेट द अमाउंट ऑफ एयर रिक्वायर्ड टू बर्न द फ्यूल. इफ इट गोस टू फास्ट, if it goes too fast, then also it will not work. If it goes too slow, then it also it will not work. Too slow is clear. Too slow में तो it will not even get the compression. If it goes too slow, it will not get the compression. But if it goes too fast, what will be the problem? The air will pass by very quickly, right? The air will pass by very quickly. समझ रहे हो? तो now there is a optimal speed. Optimal meaning ideal. Ideal मतलब जो बढ़िया जिस पे वो काम कर सकता है, right? Optimal speed, एक सही speed जिस पे वो काम कर सकता है. There is an optimal speed. इसी optimal speed पे the engine works properly. Okay? In a ramjet, ramming engine of a jet type, the optimal speed is what? Mach 3 to Mach 6. From 3 times the speed of sound to 6 times the speed of sound. उसके engine के हिसाब से it is neither too fast, neither too slow. Clear? So this is the optimal speed. Why only this? Why cannot it go beyond this? इससे कम में क्या होगा? इससे ज़्यादा में क्या होगा? If the optimal ideal speed is Mach 3 to Mach 6, less than Mach 3 to Mach 6, what will happen? In less speed, it will not get compressed air. The air compression will not be enough. Air इतनी compress नहीं हो पाएगी कि fuel चल सके. Above Mach 3 to Mach 6, what will? If it goes faster than its optimal speed, the air will be compressed too quickly. बहुत ज़्यादा compress हो जाएगी. इतनी quick भी नहीं चाहिए उसको. उसको एक ideal speed चाहिए. Actually उसको क्या चाहिए अंदर? उसको चाहिए कि अंदर जो air आ रही है, वो उस air की speed, not jet की speed, m of air, speed of air must be less than 1. Mach of air entering it must be less than 1. खुद की speed नहीं, खुद की तो कितनी भी हो, जो air enter कर रही है, that should be Mach air should be less than 1. In a ramjet, यहाँ तक समझ आ रहा है? Optimal speed इतनी है, इससे कम में क्या होगा? Air नहीं मिलेगी. इससे ज्यादा में क्या होगा? Air को यूज नहीं करता. तो क्या चाहिए उसको? ये optimal speed. इस optimal speed पे क्या होता है कि air जो उसके अंदर घुसती है, खुद की स्पीड छोड़ दो, forget about the speed of the jet. The air that enters it is entering at this speed. So air speed is what? Subsonic. Sub means less than sound. Air in a ramjet is subsonic. The ramjet itself is supersonic. This is its ideal speed and sound. So air speed is what? Subsonic. Sub means less than sound. Air in a ramjet is subsonic. The ramjet itself is supersonic. This is its ideal speed. Less than that it can't work. More than that it can't. What was happening? Can I say that in a ramjet, what is happening is the speed of ramjet. In a ramjet, what is happening is, can I say that ramjet moves at supersonic speed at subsonic combustion? Subsonic combustion क्यों कह रहा हूं मैं? Because air की entry की speed is less than Mach 1, right? Subsonic combustion is happening in ramjet. Its actual speed is supersonic. Clear? This is what is ramjet. Now, एक मैंने बात बोली थी कि it requires an assisted takeoff. Assisted takeoff. Why it requires assisted takeoff? It requires assisted takeoff because it can work properly only at this speed. To reach this speed, it needs an assist. पहले यहां तक पहुंचेगा ना, it cannot start, it will start from zero only. Zero पे start होके यहां पहुंचेगा. तो zero से यहां तक पहुंचने के लिए it requires an assist. यहां पहुंचने के बाद it can work. This is a ramjet. Ramjet was supersonic speed at subsonic combustion. अब इसकी स्पीड में Mach 6 से ऊपर क्यों नहीं बढ़ा पा रहा? Because of the subsonic combustion. Because it needs combustion to happen at subsonic level. Clear? So what is the limiting point here? हम रुक क्यों रहे? We are stopping because of subsonic combustion. Okay? तो अब if I can develop supersonic combustion here, अगर मैं ऐसा डेवलप कर लूं जो supersonic combustion पे काम कर जाए, तो और स्पीड बढ़ जाएगी. That is scramjet. The word scramjet. It is a type of jet. It is ramming into the air, but it is able to do even supersonic combustion. ये supersonic combustion भी कर लेगा. तो SC जो है ना इस ramjet में, this stands for supersonic combustion only. Supersonic combustion ramjet. ये देखो, supersonic combustion ramjet. तो अब जब ये supersonic combustion करने के capable हो गए, तो इसकी जो optimal speed है, वो बढ़ जाएगी ना. तो इसकी optimal speed Mach 8 तक होती है. राइट? तो अब अगर मुझे किसी को Mach 8 पे चलाना है, ये क्या है? हाइपरसोनिक है. ये हाइपरसोनिक मींस Mach नंबर ग्रेटर देन 5. तो अगर मुझे किसी को हाइपरसोनिक पे चलाना है, तो इट्स बेटर टू यूज दिस इंजन. Mach 7 पे भी चल जाएगा, Mach 8 पे भी चल जाएगा. तो हाइपरसोनिक मिसाइल्स आर क्रिएटेड यूजिंग स्क्रैमजेट इंजन बिकॉज़ इट इज एबल टू डू सुपरसोनिक कंबशन. इट कैन वर्क इवन एट दिस लेवल. क्लियर? आपको याद क्या करना है? आपको याद करना है, और ये वन पेज में कल इसलिए मैं आपके साथ रिवाइज करना चाह रहा था. यू जस्ट नीड टू रिमेंबर व्हाट स्पीड रैमजेट वर्क्स एट, व्हाट स्पीड स्क्रैमजेट वर्क्स एट. इससे ज्यादा कुछ नहीं. राइट? एंड थोड़ा सा आइडिया आपको हो कि यहाँ सुपरसोनिक कंबशन हो रही है. ओके? सुपरसोनिक कंबशन रैमजेट, स्क्रैमजेट हो गया. अब आता है सॉलिड फ्यूल डक्टेड रैमजेट. सॉलिड फ्यूल क्या होता है मैं बताऊंगा. आई हैव नॉट टोल्ड यू येट. रैमजेट टेक्नोलॉजी तो पता है. इसमें हमने एक डक्ट लगा दी है, एक डक्ट लगा दी है जिससे स्मोक कम हो. तो इसे हम कहते हैं सॉलिड फ्यूल डक्टेड रैमजेट. हम ये क्या पढ़ रहे थे? हम ये पढ़ रहे थे रॉकेट. रॉकेट इज अ कार फॉर अ सैटेलाइट. तो मिसाइल क्या होती है? मिसाइल होती है कार फॉर अ बॉम्ब. बात तो कार, बट वी आर रीडिंग दिस ओनली ना. वी आर रीडिंग दिस ओनली. अंदर में कुछ भी डालूं, मैं रॉकेट के अंदर बॉम्ब डाल दूं, मिसाइल बन जाएगी. मैं रॉकेट के अंदर सैटेलाइट डाल दूं, वो लॉन्च व्हीकल बन जाएगा. राइट? तो हम तो रॉकेट को पढ़ रहे हैं. वी आर एक्चुअली रीडिंग रॉकेट साइंस. ओके? वी आर प्रॉपर्ली रीडिंग रॉकेट साइंस एट द मोमेंट. एंड ऑब्वियसली इट्स नॉट गोइंग टू बी इजी बिकॉज़ सब जब कहते हैं कि इट्स नॉट रॉकेट साइंस, इट्स नॉट दैट टफ, हम रॉकेट साइंस ही पढ़ रहे हैं. तो अब हमने क्या किया? सॉलिड फ्यूल छोड़ दो, ये बताता हूं. रैमजेट इंजन ने एक डक्ट लगा दी जिससे कि स्मोक कम हो. अब किसके लिए कर रहे हैं ये? फॉर मिसाइल. कैसे किया हमने? इंडो रशियन प्रोजेक्ट. ओके? नाउ इट इज सॉलिड फ्यूल्ड. ये छोड़ दो, एयर ब्रीथिंग तो पता है, रैमजेट पता है. अब इसकी जो रेंज है वो है 70 to 340 किलोमीटर. इस मिसाइल को ढंग से मारना है तो द टारगेट मस्ट बी बिटवीन 70 and 340 किलोमीटर. This is not starting from 0. It does not say 0 to 340 kilometers because ramjet will have to attain certain speed. एक बार तो वो optimal speed पे पहुंचेगा ना, तो अगर वो एक बार भी optimal speed पे पहुंचेगा तो 0 से स्टार्ट नहीं हो सकती है रेंज. That is what I was trying to explain. जब वो एक बार optimal speed पे पहुंच जाएगा फिर हिट करेगा तो कुछ तो उसकी मिनिमम रेंज भी होगी, rather than वो बिल्कुल पास वाले टारगेट पे आप यूज नहीं कर सकते, आपको उसे पहुंचाना पड़ेगा उस ऑप्टिमल स्पीड पे. ये समझ आ गया. इसके बाद एक चीज बची थी जो इस स्लाइड के पीछे है, उसमें लिखा था ड्यूअल मोड. ड्यूअल मोड रैमजेट. ये क्या था कि इसमें सबसोनिक कंबशन भी हो जाती है, मतलब ये रैमजेट की तरह भी काम कर सकता है. आप अपनी स्लाइड में देख लो, ड्रॉन दिस बैकग्राउंड तो हो जाएगी नहीं, यू कैन सी इन द स्लाइड्स. इट कैन डू सबसोनिक कंबशन, सो इट कैन वर्क एज रैमजेट आल्सो. इट कैन डू सुपरसोनिक कंबशन, इट कैन वर्क एज स्क्रैमजेट आल्सो. तो अब ये क्या करेगा, हमने सिर्फ सीधा स्क्रैमजेट ही क्यों नहीं बनाया, हमने ऐसा क्यों बनाया, बिकॉज दिस इज मच चीपर. तो हम क्या करते हैं, मार्क 3 तक तो भाई सबसोनिक कंबशन वाला इंजन चलने देते हैं, कम पैसे लगते हैं. एंड व्हेन वी गो बियॉन्ड मार्क 4, मार्क 5, मार्क 6, मार्क 7 हमें पहुंचना है, तब हम ये वाला इंजन यूज करना स्टार्ट कर देते हैं. मार्क 4 टू मार्क 8 में इट बिकम्स अ स्क्रैमजेट, उससे पहले इट बिकम्स अ रैमजेट. क्लियर? आई होप इट्स डन नाउ. आई कैन नॉट मेक इट मोर क्लियर देन दिस. अब आते हैं फ्यूल्स. हम क्या कर रहे थे, प्रोपल्शन. प्रोपल्शन मींस गोइंग फॉरवर्ड. प्रोपल्शन करने के लिए पहला कंपोनेंट था इंजन. कार में क्या है, इंजन. और कार में क्या डालते हो, फ्यूल डालते हो, पेट्रोल, डीजल, है ना. यू पुट फ्यूल. ये फ्यूल क्या है, दिस फ्यूल इज व्हाट वी आर स्टडीइंग नाउ. अब आपको थोड़ा कार के बियॉन्ड सोचना है. कार में तो दो ही तरह के लिक्विड फ्यूल डलते हैं, बट इन रॉकेट्स देयर आर मेनी टाइप्स ऑफ फ्यूल. ओके, फर्स्ट टाइप ऑफ फ्यूल इज सॉलिड. सॉलिड फ्यूल मींस व्हाट, दैट द फ्यूल विल बी सॉलिड. ऐसा होगा, इट विल बी लाइक, मतलब सॉलिड, इट्स लाइक, लेट्स से इट्स like a particle of cheese, for example. If you burn cheese, right, even then energy will be released. So that is like solid fuel. Most easy example of solid fuel is coal. Coal is a fuel and it is solid. तो रॉकेट में जो सॉलिड फ्यूल यूज होता है, किसी रॉकेट में मान लो सॉलिड फ्यूल यूज हो रहा है, तो उसे क्या, उस फ्यूल का नाम ये है HTPB, हाइड्रोक्सी टर्मिनेटेड पॉलीब्यूटाडायोन. बिल्कुल भी याद करने की जरूरत नहीं है, बस याद करो कि सॉलिड फ्यूल हो सकता है, कोल है, राइट. इट इज द सॉलिड फ्यूल. इसकी एडवांटेज क्या है, इट कैन बी इजी टू स्टोर. क्यों करें हम सॉलिड फ्यूल यूज, स्टोर करना आसान है और एनर्जी ज्यादा देता है, इट गिव्स मोर एनर्जी. तो रॉकेट की कुछ स्टेजेस होती हैं जो हम अभी देखेंगे. फर्स्ट स्टेज में हमें अर्थ से उठाना है रॉकेट को, तो सबसे ज्यादा ग्रेविटी लग रही है, अब जंप करो, राइट, तो आपको ग्रेविटी पुल डाउन करेगी, तो इस टाइम पे मुझे एनर्जी चाहिए टू गो अगेंस्ट दैट ग्रेविटी. उस टाइम पे आई एम यूजिंग सॉलिड फ्यूल. सॉलिड फ्यूल में एनर्जी ज्यादा है तो मैं शुरू में यूज करता हूं एंड इट इज इजी टू स्टोर. बट मैं हमेशा ही क्यों सॉलिड फ्यूल यूज करता हूं, व्हाई डोंट आई ऑलवेज यूज सॉलिड फ्यूल, बिकॉज one, it is heavy, solids are heavy, so I have to put the fuel on the rocket, right. air चलो मैं बाहर से ले लूं तो ले लूं, but fuel तो मुझे रॉकेट में रखना पड़ेगा ना, तो it is heavy. Second, it does not burn uniformly. Why? Let's understand that. ये एक solid fuel है, इसमें आप कहीं भी एक सर्कल बना के आग लगा लो, आप ट्राई कर लेना. आप मान लो सेंटर में आग लगाओ, तो ये सर्कल ही बड़ा होगा, क्योंकि सर्कल बड़ा होगा तो यहाँ पहुंच जाएगा ऐसा. ये वाला पार्ट अनबर्न रह जाएगा, ये वाला पार्ट अनबर्न रह जाएगा, ये अनबर्न रह जाएगा, ये अनबर्न रह जाएगा. आप कहीं से भी सर्कल बना लो एक सॉलिड, लाइक अ स्क्वायर, इफ यू ट्राई टू मेक अ सर्कल, कभी भी वो पूरे को कैप्चर नहीं कर पाएगा. एंड ये सॉलिड है तो इसकी शेप तो चेंज नहीं हो सकती. इफ इट इज वाटर, लेट्स से आई कैन चेंज द शेप, सो आई कैन बर्न इट प्रॉपर्ली. इट्स नॉट पॉसिबल टू बर्न वाटर, जस्ट गिविंग एन एग्जांपल. लेट्स से दिस पेट्रोल, आई कैन चेंज द शेप, so I can burn it completely, but here I cannot burn it completely. Some part will be left unburned, or at the minimum it will be non-uniform. Non-uniform मतलब वो पूरी तरह से equally burn नहीं होगा, कुछ कुछ part छोड़ दे. It will be non-uniform. This is solid fuel. Okay, ये इसकी एक disadvantage है. Second इसकी disadvantage है कि ये heavy है. अब देखते हैं liquid fuel. Liquid fuel is UDMH. ये इसका नाम है, unsymmetrical dimethyl hydrazine. Again बिल्कुल भी याद करने की जरूरत नहीं है, full form. नाम अगर UDMH याद हो जाता है तो हो जाता है, but even that's okay. This is also used in PSLV and GSLV. इसमें फायदा क्या है, लिक्विड को तो आप यू कैन चेंज इट्स शेप, राइट, सो इट्स यूनिफॉर्म बर्निंग, सो इट हैज अ ग्रेटर एफिशिएंसी. इन दिस केस ओनली, इफ देयर वाज सॉलिड फ्यूल, इफ आई हैव अ लिक्विड फ्यूल, आई कैन फर्स्ट पुट इट इन अ सर्कुलर चेंबर. इफ आई पुट इट इन अ सर्कुलर चेंबर, तो इसकी शेप लिक्विड की ऐसी हो जाएगी, फिर मैं बर्न करूंगा तो इट विल बर्न यूनिफॉर्मली, करेक्ट. तो ये हो गया एक एडवांटेज. दूसरा, लिक्विड की जो वेट है वो डेफिनेटली कम है, तो द रॉकेट विल बी चीपर, है ना. लिक्विड्स आर लेस वेटी, राइट. प्रॉब्लम क्या है, स्टोरेज. सॉलिड स्टोर करना आसान, बिकॉज सॉलिड की शेप चेंज नहीं होती, लिक्विड की शेप चेंज हो जाती है. तो अगर आपके कंटेनर में छोटा सा भी क्रैक है तो लिक्विड उससे बाहर निकल जाए, राइट. दिस इज एडवांटेज एंड डिसएडवांटेज ऑफ सॉलिड फ्यूल वर्सेस लिक्विड फ्यूल. अब सॉलिड फ्यूल डक्टेड रैमजेट याद करो, वो एक ऐसा रैमजेट इंजन होगा जिसमें सॉलिड फ्यूल होता होगा. व्हिच इज द नेम ऑफ द सॉलिड फ्यूल, HTP. इफ इट was a liquid fuel ramjet, it would be called UDMH. ये वाला फ्यूल यूज होता होगा. किस टाइप का फ्यूल यूज होता है? सॉलिड फ्यूल जैसे कोल यूज करता है वो, या पेट्रोल यूज करता है? इतना ही है. अब पढ़ते हैं थर्ड टाइप ऑफ फ्यूल कह लो या टाइप ऑफ इंजन कह लो, कॉल्ड क्रायोजेनिक इंजन. अब एक बात याद रखो, ये वर्ड है क्रायो. क्रायो मींस वेरी लो टेम्परेचर. वेरी लो टेम्परेचर इज क्रायोजेनिक. वेरी लो टेम्परेचर. एक बार एक क्वेश्चन आया था मींस में, व्हाट इज द क्रायोस्फीयर एंड हाउ इज क्लाइमेट चेंज अफेक्टिंग इट. तो क्रायोस्फीयर क्या था? इट वाज द आर्कटिक एंड एंटार्क्टिक रीजंस, प्लेसेस वेयर द टेम्परेचर इज वेरी लो. क्रायोजेनिक इंजन क्या है? क्रायोजेनिक इंजन ऐसा इंजन है which stores the fuel. इसमें जो फ्यूल है वो स्टोर किया जाता है एज लिक्विड एट वेरी लो टेम्परेचर. वेरी लो टेम्परेचर मतलब -253 डिग्री सेंटीग्रेड या -183 डिग्री सेंटीग्रेड. इतने लो टेम्परेचर पे वी स्टोर द फ्यूल इन अ क्रायोजेनिक इंजन. ओके. अब विच इज द फ्यूल? क्रायोजेनिक इंजन में दो चीजें होंगी ना, एक तो फ्यूल होगा, एक होगा ऑक्सीजन. राइट. ऑक्सीजन मतलब ऑक्सीडाइजर. तो एक चीज स्टोर होती है ऑक्सीजन 90 केल्विन पे. केल्विन इज अ यूनिट ऑफ टेम्परेचर. केल्विन is a way to measure temperature the way centigrade is. So 90 Kelvin equals -183 डिग्री सेल्सियस. ओके. तो ऑक्सीजन जो ऑक्सीडाइजर है वो इसमें स्टोर हो रहा है -183 डिग्री सेंटीग्रेड पे. और जो हाइड्रोजन है, जो फ्यूल क्या है इसमें? हाइड्रोजन. हाइड्रोजन इज बीइंग स्टोर्ड एट व्हाट टेम्परेचर? -253 डिग्री सेंटीग्रेड. अब कमाल की बात ये है कि इवन एट दिस टेम्परेचर these two things can burn and interact and generate a lot of energy. So it generates high energy. Even at this temperature hydrogen can burn. अब when this combination is burned, it generates energy. तो ये क्या है? Fuel. Hydrogen is the fuel, oxygen is the oxidizer. What will be the engine called? Cryogenic. Why? Because it is at a very low temperature. So hydrogen is, अब हम क्यों यूज कर रहे हैं इसको? Why are we using this? Because hydrogen का जब मैं ऑक्सीजन से रिएक्शन कराता हूँ, क्यों यूज कर रहे हैं? Even it can burn and interact. अब कमाल की बात ये है कि even at this temperature, these two things can burn and interact and generate a lot of energy. So it generates high energy. Even at this temperature, hydrogen can burn. अब when this combination is burned, it generates energy. तो ये क्या है? Fuel. Hydrogen is the fuel, oxygen is the oxidizer. What will be the engine called? Cryogenic. Why? Because it is at a very low temperature. So hydrogen is, अब हम क्यों यूज कर रहे हैं इसको? Why are we using this? Because hydrogen का जब मैं ऑक्सीजन से रिएक्शन कराता हूँ तो क्या बनता है? वाटर. So this is environment friendly also. तभी तो ग्रीन हाइड्रोजन पे हमारा इतना काम चल रहा है. हाइड्रोजन व्हीकल्स पे इतनी बात हो रही है बिकॉज दे आर एनवायरमेंट फ्रेंडली. उन्हें आप बर्न कराओ, ऑक्सीजन से इंटरेक्ट कराओ, वाटर प्रोड्यूस होगा, कोई गैस नहीं निकलेगी, लाइक कोई ग्रीन हाउस गैस नहीं निकलेगी. राइट. ओके. ऑल्दो इवन वाटर वेपर इज अ ग्रीन हाउस गैस, बट वील गेट इनटू दैट लेटर. ठीक है. तो हाइड्रोजन अबंडेंट है, एनवायरमेंट फ्रेंडली है, कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड नहीं निकल रही, अबंडेंटली हाइड्रोजन इज अवेलेबल. अब यहाँ पे दो क्वेश्चन आएंगे कि मैंने लिक्विड की तरह क्यों स्टोर किया ऑक्सीजन और हाइड्रोजन को? मैं गैस की तरह स्टोर कर लेता, मैं गैस का इंजन बना लेता. क्यों नहीं किया? अगर मैं गैस की तरह स्टोर करता, अगेन गेट बैक टू द कंप्रेशन एंड द वे गैस वर्क्स. गैस इज दिस, इतनी दूर है. अगर मैं इसको कूल कर दूं, नीचे टेम्परेचर पे लाके इसी चीज का मैं वाटर बना दूं, जैसे वाटर वेपर से अगर मैं वाटर लिक्विड बना दूं तो द मॉलिक्यूल्स विल कम टुगेदर. तो इसमें मुझे इतना बड़ा टैंक चाहिए होता फ्यूल के लिए, अब इतने से टैंक से भी काम चल रहा है. तो मैंने कूलिंग यूज करके हाइड्रोजन को भी लिक्विड बना दिया, ऑक्सीजन को भी लिक्विड बना दिया. इफ यू कूल हाइड्रोजन एंड ऑक्सीजन बियॉन्ड अ पॉइंट, दे विल बिकम लिक्विड्स. द वे इफ यू कूल वाटर वेपर बियॉन्ड अ पॉइंट, इट विल बिकम वाटर. ओके. So hydrogen and oxygen are stored as liquid. Why? Because if they were stored as gases, it would require a huge container. Now, why oxygen and hydrogen? Why not anything else? Because this is the highest efficiency combination possible. इनको burn करके जितनी एनर्जी निकलती है per unit weight, 1 kg हाइड्रोजन और 1 kg ऑक्सीजन को अगर मैं साथ में बर्न करता हूँ, और दुनिया में कोई ऐसा फ्यूल नहीं है जो 1 kg में ही इतनी एनर्जी निकाल दे. There is no other fuel that has similar efficiency. Okay. It provides best thrust per kilogram. This is done. Okay. And now, one thing is important, that India has developed its indigenous cryogenic engine. Our ISRO scientists have done a remarkable job, and we have our own cryogenic engine. Okay, हमारे पास खुद का cryogenic engine है. Now, why did we build an indigenous cryogenic engine? Because we were not able to import the cryogenic engine from abroad because of American obstructionism. American obstructionism, why was it there? Because we were not a member of the NPCR. ये चीज मैं आपको समझाऊंगा अभी. Before that, I'll ask you some questions. क्या था प्रॉब्लम? अमेरिका कह रहा था इन लोगों को क्रायोजेनिक इंजन मत दो क्योंकि ये मिसाइल टेक्नोलॉजी कंट्रोल रेजिम के मेंबर नहीं है. क्यों कह रहा था अमेरिका ये? बिकॉज अ रॉकेट इज द सेम डिजाइन एज अ मिसाइल. रॉकेट में बॉम्ब लगा दोगे तो वो मिसाइल बन जाएगा. इफ वी हैड गॉटन क्रायोजेनिक इंजन, अब उस क्रायोजेनिक इंजन को मैं रॉकेट के लिए यूज करूं या उस क्रायोजेनिक इंजन को मैं मिसाइल के लिए यूज करूं, दैट इज माय चॉइस. तो अमेरिका सेड नो, दे आर नॉट मेंबर्स ऑफ एमटीसीआर, यू डोंट गिव इट टू देम. वी हैव बिकम मेंबर ऑफ एमटीसीआर ओनली इन 2016. उससे पहले वी वर नॉट मेंबर्स. Okay, yeah, I'm not sure of the exact year, but recently only we have become members. Before that, we were not members. तो तब हमें अपना इंडिजिनस क्रायोजेनिक इंजन बनाना पड़ा। और क्या बढ़िया है क्रायोजेनिक इंजन में, व्हाट इज द गुड थिंग हियर, दैट इट हैज वेरी गुड एफिशिएंसी एंड इट इज एनवायरमेंट फ्रेंडली. Now there are some questions for you. MTCR I have discussed, Missile Technology Control Regime. You tell me these three. What is Nuclear Suppliers Group and is India a member? This is question 1. What is Australia Group and is India a member? This is question 2. What is Wassenaar Agreement and is India a member? This is question 3. ये बताओ, देखते हैं आपने कितना आईआर पढ़ लिया. India is not member of NSG. This is Nuclear Suppliers Group. इसमें China is the main problem. Australia Group में India is member. Wassenaar Arrangement में India is member. Australia Group is for biological and chemical weapons. Wassenaar Agreement is for dual use technologies. ये क्या होता है जब आईआर पढ़ेंगे मेरे YouTube पे तब. ओके, अब बात करते हैं इंडिया के लॉन्च व्हीकल्स के बारे में. लॉन्च व्हीकल क्या है? रॉकेट. इट इज ओनली अ रॉकेट, राइट? तो अब हम पढ़ रहे हैं लॉन्च व्हीकल्स के बारे में. कौन से लॉन्च व्हीकल्स? इंडिया लॉन्च व्हीकल्स. इंडिया हैड फर्स्ट हिस्टोरिकल व्हीकल्स जो पहले सबसे बने, उनका नाम था एसएलवी एंड एएसएलवी, सैटेलाइट लॉन्च व्हीकल एंड ऑगमेंटेड सैटेलाइट लॉन्च व्हीकल. बस नाम याद कर लो, हाउ दे वर्क इज नॉट इंपॉर्टेंट. इंपॉर्टेंट वो है जो करंटली ऑपरेशनल है, जो हम अभी यूज करते हैं. जो हम अभी यूज करते हैं उसमें तीन तरह के हैं. एक है साउंडिंग रॉकेट. ये भी आपके लिए इंपॉर्टेंट नहीं है. साउंडिंग रॉकेट जस्ट मींस measurement taking rocket. We use this rocket to take measurement, so it is a sounding rocket. Sounding word in space tech without oxygen. Launch vehicles के बारे में. कौन से launch vehicles? India's launch vehicles. India had first historical vehicles जो पहले सबसे बने, उनका नाम था SLV and ASLV, satellite launch vehicle and augmented satellite launch vehicle. बस नाम याद कर लो, how they work is not important. Important वो है जो currently operational है, जो हम अभी यूज करते हैं. जो हम अभी यूज करते हैं उसमें तीन तरह के हैं. एक है साउंडिंग रॉकेट. ये भी आपके लिए इंपॉर्टेंट नहीं है. साउंडिंग रॉकेट जस्ट मींस measurement taking rocket. We use this rocket to take measurement, so it is a sounding rocket. Sounding word in space technology means measurement. Every Wednesday in Thumba we test a sounding rocket. Okay, इससे ज्यादा इंफॉर्मेशन इज नॉट इंपॉर्टेंट. जो मेन चीज है वो यहाँ है. What is PSLV? What is GSLV? What is पोलर सैटेलाइट लॉन्च व्हीकल? व्हाट इज जियोसिंक्रोनस सैटेलाइट लॉन्च व्हीकल? हमने जब ऑर्बिट पढ़े थे, मान लो ये सन, दिस इज द अर्थ. अर्थ का एक ऑर्बिट है अराउंड द सन. अर्थ ऐसे घूम रही है अराउंड द सन, इतना तो ज्योग्राफी में पढ़ा है. अगर एक ऑर्बिट है, अगर एक ऑर्बिट है इस तरह का, ऐसा, तो ये क्या है? अर्थ के ही इक्वेटर के आसपास या अर्थ के किसी एंगल के आसपास, इसे मैं क्या कहूंगा?